Tonight, Manpower Minister Josephine Teo announces new work arrangements for dependents pass holders from May 1st.
The police are investigating MP Louis Ng for not getting a permit before holding up a sign showing his support for hawkers.
Fancy an all-expenses-paid trip to the moon, while a Japanese billionaire wants 8 people to fly with him to space. This is the Straits Times Newsnight. I'm Dylan Ng.
I'm Chia Suen. Good evening, everyone, and thanks for joining us. Changes are in store for foreigners in Singapore who hold dependence passes. From May, those who wish to work here will need a formal work pass instead of the current letter of consent.
Speaking in Parliament today, Manpower Minister Josephine Teo said the new arrangement is for consistency with recent work pass moves, but noted that the vast majority of DP holders do not actually work during their stay in Singapore.
DP holders who have sought employment in Singapore via a letter of consent constitute only about 1% of all work pass holders. From 1st May 2021, DP holders who wish to work during their stay in Singapore will be directed to apply for a relevant work pass such as an EP, S-Pass or work permit. We will provide sufficient time for existing DP holders working on a letter of consent as well as their employers to transit to this new arrangement.
Mrs. Teo reiterated that her ministry's fundamental objective is always to serve the interests of Singaporean workers, and the foreign workforce must act as a complement to the local workforce. As at June 2020, there were about 1.1 million work pass holders in Singapore.
More lower-wage workers look set to be getting a pay rise. Senior Minister of State for Manpower Zaqy Mohamad today announced that the progressive wage model will be expanded to cover 218,000 workers, more than double the 85,000 currently. Here's who it will benefit next: 80,000 workers in food, services and retail, 50,000 in-house cleaners, security officers and landscape maintenance workers, and 3,000 in the waste management sector. Recommendations will be made by the end of the year.
In more jobs news, ExxonMobil will cut about 300 positions or 7% of its workforce in Singapore this year. All the affected staff are professionals and managers and will be notified next week. The last day of payroll for them will be on April 30th. The oil giant blamed the layoffs on unprecedented conditions resulting from the pandemic.
Nee Soon GRC MP Louis Ng was back in Parliament this afternoon, hours after it emerged in the morning that he is currently being investigated by the police. The reason? He did not get a permit before holding up a placard to encourage Singaporeans to support hawkers. The police said they have been looking into a possible offence of public assembly without a permit. Mr. Ng had posted about his trip to Yishun Park Hawker Centre on Facebook in June last year. In 4 pictures that accompany the post, Mr. Ng is seen holding up a piece of paper that read, "Support them," followed by a smiley face.
Looking at Singapore's COVID-19 situation, 2 community cases were among the 23 new infections reported today. The remaining 21 were imported and had been placed on stay-home notice upon arrival here.
Saudi Arabia will reportedly only allow people who have been vaccinated against COVID-19 to attend the Hajj this year. Citing a circular signed by the health minister, a Saudi newspaper reported that vaccination will be one of the main conditions for participants seeking a permit to visit. Last year, only 1,000 pilgrims attended the Hajj after restrictions were imposed to help prevent the spread of the virus.
A British man who molested a 3-year-old girl when he was working as a reading specialist at a learning centre has been sentenced to 18 months jail and 3 strokes of the cane. 29-year-old Richard Christopher Monks pleaded guilty last month to outraging the toddler's modesty in his class in October 2018. There were 6 children in the classroom at the time and the victim was the youngest. Footage showed Monks repeatedly lifting the victim's pink dress and caressing her buttocks with his left hand, with the Briton also seen using his right hand to point a mobile phone up her skirt.
Now, on another note, let's take a look at what's been trending on social media. Dolly Parton has been inoculated with the COVID-19 vaccine that she helped to fund. The country music legend had donated $1 million to Vanderbilt University Medical Center to develop the Moderna vaccine in the early days of the pandemic.
The 75-year-old star broke into song as she was getting the Moderna jab, adapting one of her best-known ballads, Jolene.
Vaccine, 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 vaccine. I'm begging of you, please don't hesitate. Vaccine, 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 vaccine. 'Cause once you're dead, then that's a bit too late. I know I'm trying to be funny now, but I'm dead serious about the vaccine. I think we all want to get back to normal, whatever that is, and that would be a great shot in the arm, wouldn't it, if we could get back to that. But anyhow, I just wanted to encourage everybody, because the sooner we get to feeling better, the sooner we are going to get back to being normal.
Hopefully, we can all travel again, even to the moon. Japanese billionaire Yusaku Maezawa is looking for 8 people to join him as the first private passengers on a trip with Elon Musk's SpaceX, all expenses paid. Now, you won't need any qualifications to sign up for the Dear Moon project, with the first stage of the selection process running from now till March 14th. Applicants need to pass several interview stages, medical checks, and eventually a final interview with the man himself. You can visit dearmoon.earth for more information on the flight scheduled for 2023.
Speaking of travel, back on Earth, Qantas is launching mystery flights to boost domestic tourism. 3 journeys will be on offer and take off from Brisbane, Melbourne or Sydney, as travellers put their fate into the hands of the airline for an economy ticket starting from $737 Australian dollars. While travellers won't know where they're headed, Qantas is offering a few hints, with their Brisbane flight, for example, to offer the perfect getaway for those who love gourmet food and the great outdoors. Honestly, how good does that sound?
I was just going to suggest that Singapore Airlines does something similar in Singapore, but then I realized that we're so small, it just can't work here.
And before we go to McDonald's tomorrow, thought we'll share the exciting news. McGriddles is back yet again, and the internet is still as excited for it as ever. The very popular breakfast item, maple syrup-drenched griddle cakes, will be returning to the Golden Arches tomorrow and will be available all day. And for all you fans out there, there's a sticker pack you'll get with every purchase of the McGriddles feast. Go get it while stocks last, I know I will.
Definitely something I've missed.
And that wraps up the Straits Times Newsnight. Do visit straitstimes.com to see more news and videos.
You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel by hitting the button below. Have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow.